Good morning. 6:40 in the morning. Here, it's light up already. Okay. Today's topic is my grandfather. Before I talk about my father, let me talk about my grandfather first. My very first influence in Arnis de Mano. I miss my grandfather right away. See, it's putting me to that level of experience. Putting me to that. I'm going back to where I was 6 years old. You know, when my grandfather and my cousin Paterno Baldillion was taking me to the mountain. It's not, it's not far from the town actually. Now is Barrio Casile as our kaingin. Here we go. Or charge, something like that. Yeah. Anyway, my grandfather was 70 years old at that time. 70 years old. And he noticed that me and Pat always fight. You know, he always quarrel. He realized that both of us has to be controlled. And controlling ourselves, telling us not what to do, is not good. So, he made this plan that to teach us Arnis de Mano and to control ourselves. Give us something to do so we don't take it out to other kids. So, it's hard beginning. Why? Because he don't teach us abecedario. He don't teach us anything. We have a hold stick, and they tell us to hit. You know, he pined us one wood trees in the mountain, and both of us was hitting that as hard as we could, and only one and backhand, buhat araw and vertical. At that time, he don't name it. He just said this one and this one. That's it. For about good 30 minutes, Pat and I, my cousin Pat, and I was doing that to the trees. And then he said, okay, that's enough. After 30 minutes, we took a break, and I remember telling me that the most important in fighting is footwork. So, he has a table that he made out of bamboo right on the mountain. He told me to get up there while we're resting. So I get up there, Pat and him is right in front of me. And he said, whenever I hit your right feet, you move your right feet back. Or switch feet, that's what he said. Because I could be, I could pull on the chair or on the table that he made. So he made that. He hit my right. I step back and switch my right up. He hit my left, and then do it the same way. I step back, slow, but going faster and faster. And then he said, okay, Pat, your turn. My cousins get up, and that's the same thing. Then after that, he said, are you guys thirsty? Yes. And he said, what do you like to drink? Our land is next to the river, and it's just rained that day. So the river is a lot of water. And he said, no, we don't want water because, it could be dirty because it's a rainwater. So we want buko, which means coconut. My grandfather was 70 years old. Pick up a piece-sized rocks and throw to the probably 25-foot coconut trees and throw it. And amazingly, he dropped 3 or 4 of those. He picked up 2, open it, will give me 1, gave my cousin one, and he made one for himself. So that's it. To me, that's normal. You know, he threw a rock. Coconut spell. I mean, talking about green coconut. So, and then give us the drink. Happy day. And man, I am now 57. And since I was 20s, I've been trying to knock out one coconut on the 10-foot trees. 10 foot. I couldn't do anything. I don't have enough strength or power to knock out even the green or the dried one. Even more the green one. Oh my God. I was so surprised. Up to this day, I'm still looking for answer for that. Anyway, I also learned that my grandfather has amulet. O anting-anting. You know, that he passed it through my brothers. Thank God I'm not old enough to accept one from him. Or else, it's not supper. It's just not enough. See what happened is when you have anting-anting or amulet, you would never be rich. You can live comfortably, but never be enough. Whatever you make is just enough for you and the family. And I want more than that. So I'm just thank God. Anyway, my granddad or my grandfather has all of those anting-anting with him. He has ulinig, that he can hear it from the far. He has this leech, anting-anting on the leech, which if you get caught, the wound will heal fast. And that's presumably one of the reasons why he survived on the 7 death match that he has. He got caught on the last death match. That's put him on 7 years on bedridden. Two doctors, Dr. Baisas and Dr. Kagin, back in Baet, telling him that he has 6 months to live. So he was 6 months to live. My grandma and my grandfather also both healed. So my grandma would make kaskas bao, which is the coconut shell, powder. He made those every day. Mix it up with penicillin, which is penicillin tablets that you can buy it in the store in the Philippines anyway. Powder them too and mix it together. And that's what my grandmother put it on the wound of my grandfather. And it took him 7 years to heal him, Anyway, cut the story short. He is very skilled in healing, but on that point, he almost lost his legs by cut of in the 7 death match. He got cut first on the knee. So before he killed his matches, he was down on the ground. He thought that he's gonna die, but what saved him is his skill in weaponry. In the Philippines, no matter what you do, even you said that death matches is not allowed anymore. In the mountain is totally different rules. Especially when the land is what called is homestead. Whoever can live there for certain years, the land is yours. And that's what's happening in the mountain. Everybody want a good land, peace closer to the town. And a lot of these rich people, they try to buy it from my grandfather, and my grandfather don't sold it, don't agree with the price. So they sent challenger. This is the third challenger that he was sent to, but two of them never really went through. But the last one that they sent, he tried to kill him, and they killed him back. He was killed at 5:45 in the morning. And then my grandfather was afraid that the family of the persons would be waiting, looking for him, and he's cut. So he dragged himself, going to the nearest water to wash himself, nursing his wound, and hide in the bushes. He dug a lot of leaves and cover himself to the nearby water, so nobody can really see him. And if he need to drink, he just has to drag himself to the water. 3 days later, my uncle, my dad at the time was only 7 years old. My uncle is 9. So sick after my grandfather in the mountain, and found him, where he said he's gonna be. Because prior on that, he said, if I don't come home in 3 days, you guys look for me. In Tatlong Cross, we're in Baet, close to the waterfalls. Back on the days, we have a land close to the Tatlong Cross, or 3 crosses in Baet. Because we were told that our land is close to Jose Rizal's brother's land. Pasiano Rizal has a land in the mountain too, back then. But it's owned by his relatives. When I'm growing up, it's still owned by somebody, but I don't know exactly where it is, because I never really asked my dad, nor I asked them to point it out. But anyway, that is the last death match of my grandfather. And every time my grandfather and I had sit down, he would talk about the past. He would talk about World War II. I love when he said, when they escaped from the town after they let them go from the church, he took my grandmother and my dad and bring them to the mountain, because the Japanese would call it Sona of town, and whoever they find in the house would be killed or executed. So that's what his things. He said on the way to the mountain, he experienced to fight multiple challenges against Japanese. He has a walking stick that he marked there 76. He made me count that. The things is like bahay like this, but it's about 5 feet or maybe even 6 feet. I'm not sure. I'm just a kid at that time. I don't know how tall, But I held that stick. My dad held it, and it's cut. There's a mark in the stick that is 76 mark, and on the other side is 13. And the mark is 76. 76 Japanese he killed by his bolo over the years of 4 years. He said he's been killing 10 to 15 Japanese a year, and nobody knew. He's the only one that making mark. And he also killed 13 Americans. I said, why you kill American? They're an ally. My grandfather said, I hate Americans. They executed my father. My father is Lino Bisaya Baet, members of Katipunan, underground, and nobody even know that he's a Katipunero until he was caught in Pagsangan, Laguna with the President Macario Sakay. According to my dad, It's supposed to be a secret meeting, but they cut them up. And he was one of the executed long before even they go to Manila, because they only bring to Manila is Macario Sakay and Lucio de Vega. But they meet in Cabinte, Laguna, which where my family were, you know, and he was captured, and right there, according to my dad, was executed then. So my grandfather is really hate American because of that. They don't give my great grandfather a chance. So every time he got a chance, remember, this is before the war, okay? Not during the war. He killed American every time he got a chance, you know, because they're ruled by American, you know, before from 1898 to 1941, and then they come back and free us. So think about it. Between 1920, because my grandfather was 20 years old at then, he's been killing American wherever he got a chance until 1941. And then after the war, he just revealed that he's the one who making all of those killed. When the Americans, you know, servicemen arrive in Baet and killing them one by one, especially those Americans that they survey rice field. Oh, he pointed out where he dug into the rice field and when they put their bodies. You know, he explained it, how he killed them and put it on the body, you know, to the rice field. Rice field is one of the cemetery, okay, in Laguna. Nobody knows what you'll find in there. They use you as a compost. So that's what my dad was telling us. You have to be skilled in the rice field and everywhere else. Why? Because you don't know who you will face. In the rice field, nobody can run to help you right away. In the mountain, the same way. If they're hidden in the trees and everything else, they, you know, forget it. You have to be skilled, and you have to have a good knee to run, you know. Anyway, I have so much memory of my grandfather in terms of story. A lot of, some of them I don't understand, like Aswang, you know, the one that really, it's true. He said it's true. It's not fake claim. Aswang is true. He's a human being, and they said that they're harmless. You know, they just weird because they like the smell of the pregnant woman. They like the smell of sick people. They like to smell them. They feel like jasmine smell or jasmine's flower. So that's what my grandfather was telling us. And he captured multiple aswang. Some of them has become friend. And, you know, they visit us. They even eat with us. We don't even know that he's aswang. And my grandfather was telling your dad met a lot of them, and your dad studied to some of them in terms of healing and what do you that? It's a healing art, and how can I call this voodoo type of things? It's like a kulam, you know. In the Philippines we call this kulam. It's like Buddhistry, you know. It's like voodoo, you know, that use you know, it's like a witchcraft. Here we go, witchcraft. That's what it is. You know, Filipino is very big in witchcraft. Gotta be careful. Up to this day, there's a lot of witchcraft over there. I study to counter them, but I don't practice them. I can, you know, recite all of the oracion, but in case I need to do it. You know, I'm a healer myself, and I have to really, equip myself with things that unexpectedly. Yeah, I can see in the spirit that nobody can see. I can feel them. I can even talk to them. I can hear them. But I choose to ignore them. Why? I choose to ignore them because my grandfather said, once you tell them that you can see them, they will bug you. They will bother you. So I just ignore them. But I talk to them like I don't see them. I just talk to them. Said, I can feel you, but I cannot see you. You know, but I cannot understand what you said. You know, so that's how I do it. I have a lot of experience already going to different state here in the United States that I see spirit. And I warn people, and you know, and they tell me, man, how do you know? I said, well, I just feel it. I don't want to scare them at the same time. But those people that believe in it, they listen. But those people don't believe in it, I don't even talk about it. Anyway, my grandfather is a very, very surprising man. He has a lot of skill. He light up a wood, okay, out of 2 pieces of rocks. I don't see, up to this day, I'm sorry. Up to this day, I try. I couldn't do it. I couldn't lit a freaking rocks that my grandfather can do. Okay, so I'm sorry, but that's one is not my skill. There are so many things. He taught us bamboo, dried bamboo, make a fire. Then that's what I can do. You know, we even cook rice, cook fish, cook chicken in the bamboo. Because at one time, my grandfather and I ended up sleeping in the mountain. What happened is somebody broke into the balag, or to the small shack that my grandfather was, and they took everything. They took all of the knives that is there, pots and pans, anything that has value. He took it. So we have rice, we have fish that and egg. My grandfather said that, well, we'll cook. My grandfather cut a green bamboo and start cooking rice in the bamboo. He start cooking egg in the bamboo and start cooking fish in the bamboo. And I promise my student that I will do it with them when we go to the Philippines, or even in my house, because I have a bamboo in the house. You know, so maybe one day, one retreat, I will do it for everybody. So my experience with my grandfather is very colorful as a young kid. Why? Because I have this feeling of love. You know, my grandfather loved us so much. And they tell us every day that if I forget to tell you I love you, remind me. You know, Apo, I love you. Oh, grandson, I love you. My cousin and I are always together to go to the rice field or to the mountain. Yeah, until the day that he's passed, we are sleeping next to him in his room. You know, even overnight that he's already, you can hear him drooling, you can hear him, you know, crying type of thing. You know, he knows that he's gonna die. You know, he told my dad, and we're there. And right before he died, he told us that we have to get out of the room. So we were sleeping I was sleeping in the kitchen. You know, I think Pat is sleeping next to me, and my cousin. We are about a bunch of cousins. All of my dad, my uncle was there because they're waiting for my grandpa to die. You know, and he won't die until his anting was passed to someone. Daniel and Jose was there. They call him, and they pass it through him to them. So I don't know what they got. You know, it's hard. It's hard to tell or to assume. According to my dad, Daniel has the lich or the linta, and Jose has the tikbalang. You know, tikbalang is the half horse, half human. You know, anting. That's his strength. But truly enough, my brother Jose can climb a tree, a coconut, going up and going down head first. Before, not now because he's old now, but before, I remember that. And he also can carry 4 sacks of rice. Oh, 4 sacks of rice. I see people carry 1 and 2, but my brother can carry 3 to 4. I can't believe it in my own eye when I see him do that. I was young. This is almost 6 o'clock in the afternoon. We are rushing to go home, and at that time, the highway is not yet built, so they have to walk through the rice pit paddy. Yeah, it smells like a bench. That's what you walk. You have to balance yourself with about 4 or 3 sacks of rice in your shoulder. Oh, that's a skill, and that's my brother Jose. Daniel is lazy. He will carry 1. You know, sometimes he'll carry 2. But that Daniel is quick. As soon as he put his feet to the water, he would quick. We left him in the rice field at 6 o'clock. Think about it. We left him, okay? But there's so many ways to go home, you know. But all of the way is like almost the same distance. And somehow my brother, when we get home, he was sitting on the bench already, smoking. I think his rice field is already, his rice is already in the house. So I was surprised. My dad is not surprised because he said that he has what he has, and that's what is one of his skill. He walks fast, that nobody can see him. Anyway, I'm almost done to my time limits. I would like to talk more about my grandfather, details and everything, but my limited experience to him in Arnis is enough to wake me up. Before he died, he asked my dad to continue teaching us, but my dad don't take over until a few months later, and then seriously took over after 1972. Anyway, next one, if you like what you hear, I'm gonna talk about my dad and all of his secret, why he become the champion of Arnis de Mano, king of the 7th mountain. Talk to you later. Subscribe, everybody. Gat Puno Abon here. Love you. Bye. Here we go.